appreciate you guys being here for the state of the school. We have a lot of exciting things to share with you. God is continually blessing the school. As you guys may know, we're on our 36th year. We're about to start our 37th year. And I always tell the board, and I've told the staff here too, that my desire and our desire is the people that started this school to be a Christian school in our community, that every time they see us or they're around, that they would be proud that we stay true to who God has created the school to be. And we have to work hard at it, right? It takes a lot of work. And it's very important that we keep that standard that CTCS started 36, almost 37 years ago. So I appreciate each one of you and your dedication to Christian education and just in your family values and how important that is for your children as they move forward because they're going to take care of us one day, right? And I want to see them in heaven as well, so they need to know the good Lord. So let me open up with prayer and then we'll get started. Oh, our gracious Heavenly Father God, first of all, can I say, what a beautiful day. Just thank you for that. Thank you for the sunrise and the sunset. Thank you for this warmer weather. You know I love it. So I just lift up the school to you, Lord. I want to first say just thank you. Thank you for the blessings. Thank you for these families that are so dedicated to you, Lord, that just love you with all their might and just want their children to have that same experience, Lord. And lift up our staff, just an amazing group of teachers and staff members and our administrators, our board members, Lord, that just lead the way, just worshiping you as well, Lord. So I ask for a special protection over this place. Let us open our hearts and our minds. Let us share, that our words would be clear, that these parents and staff members would understand what we're sharing, and that you would be blessed with our words, Lord. We love you. Gosh, thank you for your grace and mercy. I need it every day, so I thank you for that. Thank you for dying on the cross for each one of us. In your precious name, amen. All right. So let me, I want to start just with a few introductions. Our admin team is actually going to come up and speak and talk about their sections a little bit. But I did not know if some of you guys, we shared this, we have it on our Facebook page or on our web page. Currently right now, we do have 10 board members. And I think we're allowed to have up to 12, is that correct? I can't remember 12 or 14. So we have several board members here. Mike Emmons, if you'll raise your hand right here, Mike. He is our chairperson for the board. And then we have Janine Grafe. She's been on the board 5 years. So Allie Turner is right back over here. I don't want to forget anybody, but you guys can see the list. And let me tell you this, I just want to share this because this is extremely important. When the board is praying for new board members, and that's the way they go about it, it's really a deep prayer and a lot of time. And it has been amazing to me since I've been head of school, how God has picked each one of those people to serve at such a time as what our school was dealing with. And that's just a testimony in itself, how God has blessed this place. So when I started, it was a financial, let's just say that it's a challenge. And God placed wonderful financial experts that could help us and get everything on board so we're not in that wreck anymore. And then COVID came and we had wonderful doctors and health people that really helped us step through that. And our school did an amazing job with our parents and our teachers stepping in. And now we're building and we're growing, and it's amazing how many of these people have their own businesses, know how to do this as well. So it just has been wonderful just to sit back and watch. So I am blessed to serve with them, and I just wanted to say that process is all about prayer and picking the right people, because God already knows what's happening tomorrow, right? We might not know, but He already knows, so that's a beautiful thing. Of course, I'm Brenda Russell. I am blessed to be the head of school. And this is my 9th year at CTCS, and I really do have an amazing job because I get to be with all the kids and all the employees, and I love children, love students at all ages. I'm actually one of those people, middle school is my favorite age to teach, so people look at me kind of strange, but I can't believe that, but it's true. So I love that. Alex Kellerman is our Chief Financial Officer. He does an amazing job. He'll be speaking in a little bit. Kelly Humphrey, her son is playing at Marble Falls tonight. So she is there, and I will do her part here in just a few minutes. Mr. Diab, I just saw him. He's our elementary principal. Mr. John Bate is our secondary principal. He'll be up here in a minute. Leif Johnson is our athletic director. We have Karen Luckett, our dean of students and admissions, and then Vanessa Sykes is our building director. So we stay busy, and so I want you to know these people, because when you have questions in each one of these areas as we go through, please call them or send them an email. That's very important. We're here to answer those questions, but it might be easier if you just go directly to those departments, at that time. So, okay, so if you guys did not already know, we just finished our accreditation, and accreditation, we do 2 accreditations. One is ACSI, and then Cognia, which, if you guys, back in my day, Cognia was SACS, Southern Association of Schools, Colleges and Schools. So we do both, and the reason behind that is when our kids get a stamp on their transcript that we have ACSI, which is the Christian organization, the largest, and then SACS or Cognia, colleges are seeing that and knowing that we have met their procedures and their policies, and they're giving us that stamp of approval. It is a process, and it takes a little time to do this. But I wanted to share with you the good news and the bad news. Well, not bad, I'm going to say that. Opportunities for growth in our areas. So a lot of this, and I'm not going to read it. We're going to record this. It is being recorded. You guys can look at each of the slides later. But the main thing, if you guys were looking at this, and that was what I was talking about earlier, is we got such high marks on being a biblical sound school. And I love that, because we could have been and we were good. We're good in academics. We do a great job. But if we had not scored high in the biblical, in the Christian, in the mission fields, that would be sad, because our name is Central Christian, So this was very important. So our high marks were in here. So they said our culture was, when they were here, they could just feel the Holy Spirit. They could feel the love that we had. They felt like that every student had an advocate for them. So that was, wonderful news too. So we care. We love your children. We take care of your kids, and we're going to do whatever we can to give them that. The other strong area that we had was definitely safety. You guys know that has been one of my biggest concerns since I started, and that was our highest mark, was our security and our safety. I don't think we can ever do too much with that. We got a long ways to go. Especially with the new portables, we still have things we're needing to add and get those finished up, to help with that. But our security has done really, really well. Our teachers do an amazing job with that too. So anyway, I'm going to give you guys a round of applause, because that was just a wonderful. Our teachers are doing a wonderful job, and our parents as well. The other part, they call them actions. So we have action items. It used to be called, I can't remember what the old name was. We were one of the first schools to do this new accreditation process. So some of these terms are a little bit different. So what happens every year in August or September, right around there, I have to fill out a report showing the action items they're requiring us to do at our school to prove that we are moving forward in these areas. And we have 6 years, and every year for 6 years until we have our next accreditation visit, when they come up with other action plans. We fill that out, and we have to prove to them. That's the one thing about accreditation that's so beautiful. You have to prove your facts. So if you say you're academically strong, you need to be able to prove that you're academically strong with data. There's a lot of data. Our teachers can tell you, our people that wrote the report, we had one file after another just proving, what we do. So some of the things that they had us, when they're talking about revising our curriculum, we were kind of a little shocked with this one. It was not one that we had written down in art, so we do a report and we write what we think we need improvement in. But what happened was some of the curriculum guides did not actually have the assessment piece inside the curriculum guides that we have. We have amazing curriculum guides. They're really pretty nice and pretty good. But they did not have not all of them had the assessment piece in there, or they might not have had the biblical integration. And then the other part was, when we changed textbooks, like we did this year, I think we changed our math in some subjects. Well, it's going to take us all year to develop that curriculum guide as we're going through and adding new novels or new curriculum, that we're adding that might not be finished. So that's what that was right there. The other thing is, we really do need to train our teachers how to read data. We can see it. I'm a data queen. I love it. But we can look at it and do all kinds of things. But if you don't know how to take the data and then improve our areas of weakness with that data. So if I notice that we're not doing well in grammar and it's commas, and I see that happening, throughout my assessments through the year, then we should be able to look at the data, collect data, read it. And the main reason they wrote this here, and it's down here a little bit older, is we have not shared that with our families. So this is one reason we have this meeting, that from now on we really need to share. We got a lot, John's going to share, I think Bill has some too as well, that our students do well, and we need to celebrate how good they're doing, but we have not shared that. We might share it with you as a parent that you're going to receive the scores, right? So if they have an Iowa test or they're taking the PSAT, they receive it, but we have not shared it overall, like the school has done this well. So that was an area that they wanted us to do. We also need to define roles and expectations, and this is one that I wrote, and we all felt this way. So we had a turnover, we're not surprised, right? Especially you elementary teachers. That's going to happen in a business sometimes. We hire people, they don't work out, and it just happened to be one of those years that we actually had several teachers, more so in elementary, that moved on. But can I tell you the beautiful thing of it? If you guys can meet our new teachers, it's amazing how God placed these fabulous teachers. Like, I am not even kidding. It's a beautiful thing. We don't like it for the kids. I hate that the kids had to go through more than one teacher. But what it did make us realize were a couple of things. One, my job changed. So when we hired Mr. Bate to become the principal, I was doing both jobs as a superintendent or head of school and principal. Then my job description changed. We have a new, different job description for him. We really didn't have that completely lined out for this year. And just to make sure that when we have new employees coming, that's really aligned well, and that we can hand it to them, hand it over to them, make sure we're really strong with doing some peer tutoring. We needed to get a little bit stronger in that. We're trying that really hard, especially with new employees. So that was one of them. So that was one that we wrote ourselves. Most of these are the ones we already diagnosed ourselves that we needed help in. And then the other part that came from them was to implement a long-term planning. And this is in all areas. We do a pretty good job with this, but one thing that kept coming out is like computers, like technology. So that changes, every 3 weeks? I feel that way, right? So you're having to stay on top. And so what's going to happen? We bought all these new Promethean boards. We have new computers. The kids have their Chromebooks, but they're only going to be good for so long. So what is our plan of action when those are no longer available and now we have to upgrade everything? So we need to, financially, we got to set a goal and we need to set it. So this really helps us because once again, it's going to be a 6-year, we have to do it for 6 years. We get to do it for 6 years, and that just, lays that all out. We have a pretty good plan, but we don't want it to be like, tomorrow, all of our computers just need to be replaced. It just can't be done that way. So we want to make sure that we're prepared for that. So we did a great job. Applaud you for our accreditation. It's been it's one of my favorite things because it tells you, and I always tell parents, and I'm telling you guys this, if you go to any school, you need to look, if it's a private school or a Christian school, any school, look to see if they're accredited because the standards are so high and they have to meet that to keep their accreditation. So that's important. And you also want, when they graduate, to be from accredited school, so colleges understand they had to go through the right process to get a high school education. So it's extremely, extremely important. Okay, so we have 6 pillars, and these are the 6 pillars. I shared this earlier in the year. What's wonderful about this, that each one of our action plans and our recommendations that they gave us all fall into each one of these areas. So we have, of course, academic, faculty enrichment and recruitment, school governance, spiritual health, facility safety, and finance. And within each one of these categories, we have set our objectives. And these can change, but so we have several different, you can see, if I show you the review all curriculum guides every 3 years. So that was part of an action plan, right? So that is on there to make sure that we know that we have to check those curriculum guides and make sure they're updated every year, and we keep looking at them. These are just some of the things that we've had on our list, is to increase offerings for our kids, and a lot of this already happened this year, so it's been a beautiful thing. Stay up, once again, they told us to keep up with our technology and look at the advancements of that, which changes every day. I actually did a seminar today, and I'm just like, that can't be happening right now, so it's just a little crazy. Okay, faculty and staff. So as you were aware, we did have a turnover in our our faculty, especially more so in elementary. But one thing that we really were trying to do, we've been working on it for years, and I felt like we got there, and then what happened in the state of Texas, which is great, because teachers should get paid a whole lot of money, right? Because they do a lot, and they educate our kids, and they're going to take care of us one day. But we're really, in a Christian school setting, we do not get paid the same. Christian schools do not offer the same package or salaries that our local school districts. So you got to remember, is Temple 5A? 6A, 5A. So we would be considered a 1A school if we were in a public school, okay? We'd be maybe almost a 2A, but just kind of depends where the numbers. So we've been changing our salary scale through the years and trying to get closer and closer. So the goal within a Christian organization or Christian schools is trying to be 85% of what your size of school would be. And we're over 85% for this next year. So we do plan, our teachers will get raises, and we want to keep that and keep them going. One thing also was, when I started here, our teachers their kids could not come here. They could come here, let me rephrase that. That didn't sound right. We want their kids here, but they did not get tuition assistance, they didn't get help from us, from the school, unless they filed for financial assistance, they could get it. So last year, I think Mike was the first year, we started adding 30% in for our teachers if they have kids here. We're going to 35% this next year. Our goal is we got to take care of them, right? And they want their kids here, but if they're making the salary that's 85%, and it's a lot less than Belton and Temple, and living here, we've got to do whatever we can. So that's what that goal is, and we keep moving along with that. And then just trying to make sure that we encourage them for professional development. We want to encourage, I think we have 3 teachers right now working on their doctorate, if I'm not mistaken, or 3 different people. But not only that, just to keep professional development going and encouraging them. Our school governance, our main is just to be a Christ-like board leadership. I'm here to tell you, I've been at 3 schools, and I have never witnessed the prayerful and heartfelt, God-given board members that we have had and that I've been able to work with. They put a lot of time into prayer, so that is good. But our mission is to be faithful, and they have to make sure that we stay true to the mission of our school, and they are to guide us in that direction, so that is really good. We also have to practice policy governance and then ongoing training. They also have to have training. We usually do training in the summer. Mike has done a really good job, or Mr. Emmons, sorry, has also done a great job with, we look at a certain policy at our board, so it's not overwhelming and you're not looking at the whole book and going through it. So they'll look at a different policy in their training. So we do meet once a month, which is not like most schools, and most of Christian schools meet maybe 4 times a year, or 6 times maybe tops. Ours meet, I think we have 2 months that we might not meet, but hadn't worked that way lately, but it's because we've been busy, so that's good. Okay, so good job on that. Spiritual health is to keep our focus on Christ in all we do, and you guys can see that. This was our big area that we got a lot of great scores on, and they can see it. This is very, very important. One big thing to me, and you guys know this as Christians, we have to give our kids, we can talk all we want, but we have to give our kids opportunities to serve. And I don't know if you know how much we give our kids an opportunity to serve. It is beautiful. It's a great thing. And you too, you get to do this all the time. So just preschool, they collected mittens. They just finished doing mittens. So every class, everybody has an opportunity to serve. Because we can talk the talk, but if we don't walk the walk, it's not good. And then facilities and safety, of course, we've got high marks with this area. I'm never happy because I feel like there's always something that needs to go on, like the parking lot, I have that written. But we do want permanent buildings. That is our goal. I think I told Mr. Emmons and the board, I can't remember who I was visiting with. I do plan to retire one day, and but my goal would be that we would have a permanent building. The portables would be gone before I retire. So that is in the making, and hopefully soon we'll be kicking off some exciting things in our near future, and I hope it gets done before I have to retire, or you guys kick me out, so whatever that looks like. But we have to maintain our facilities. You guys know if you have businesses, your own home, it just takes a lot. It just, it really does. And keeping up with this much campus and it takes a lot of money. Our immediate growth needs is, of course, that parking lot that likes to swallow my car. Fencing, barriers, we have that in the making. some sidewalks, and just the growth needs in itself. Just with, it's kind of crazy, but you don't think, like we went from 431 to 500 and 400 and something. You know, you just add 60 kids to a campus, the wear and tear, or the different classrooms you need, more classrooms you need. So that is just part of that. And then finances, of course we want to strengthen our finances. I wish I could show you 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and this graph that would have been negative, you know, in the red, and then the board got a hold of it, we hired a CFO, and things started looking better, and we got wise with our money. And so it just, we got policies and procedures in place, nobody writes, you know, I mean, we have, it's ridiculous to buy a cup of coffee here, you know, by the time 3 people sign off, but it's there. I'm just using that as an example, but let's go. We do plan to establish a development plan, and we do have a development committee. We are meeting this week, I believe. So we have a development committee within the board and some people outside the board. We have a finance committee within the board and some people outside the board. A building committee that are board members and some families outside of that. And then that last one, just to really, if we could kick off a capital campaign in the next, you know, ever how many years. I don't know what that's going to look like because I'm not in development, I'm learning. So that would be like fantastic to be able to do that. So these are our wishes and our objectives, and we just plan to keep going with that. So at this time, I'm going to have Alex Kellerman. He's going to come and talk about finances, which you all love, right? So he'll do a great job. So this is Alex Kellerman.
Okay, wonderful. That should hopefully work for me. Good evening. Hi. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for showing up so we can talk about the state of CTCS for fiscal year 2025. Weird to already say that. So this year we do have some key initiatives as a school. So as you can see behind me, and as Mrs. Russell already addressed, some of our biggest drivers, first and foremost in the safety and security realm, a student or school resource officer, huge benefit to the community. I don't think there's a student one that wouldn't say they haven't had a fantastic experience having Deputy Matamoros here. That is something we want to perpetuate, having a SRO here on campus. Additionally, supporting our continued expansion here on campus with the addition of those 2 new modular buildings, just as a stepping stone, as again Ms. Russell said, for future continued campus improvement and expansion. The third item would be staff retention, recruitment, development, retirement benefit, overhaul for the entirety of that package. And then finally, additional course selection, which is not one that many people think about, but adding those additional options for our students. So things like our health science class, things like our new woodworking class, things like additional options in wind term. We want your students to have every opportunity we possibly can, but we want to do them well. We don't want to do things that are haphazard. We do want them to be to the standard that we expect from every other classroom here at CTCS. So these are some huge drivers that we have, huge initiatives we want to continue to put our efforts toward. In that vein, that comes with, of course, a cost and price tag involved. And this is something that, from the board perspective as well as from our accreditation, we wanted to focus further and lean further into with you, our families, which was additional clarity, transparency around the finances here at CTCS. One of the biggest items that is just getting buy-in from families and understanding where your tuition dollars go, rather than to the black hole of, just somewhere out of tuition. What does that actually mean when dollars come to the school? Where are they going? So as you can see, our budget for fiscal year 2025 is $5.53 million. And the breakout of that is really straightforward. There are only 4 major buckets those dollars will flow into. The first of those is very simple. It's just simply having people here. Our employee salaries, benefits, taxes, just having human beings on this campus ready to love on your children, teach them, grow them into the human beings and godly young men and women that we want them to be. That in and of itself is $3.5 million right out of the gate. On top of that, we have for our facilities, which I have to say in terms of a 1A comparative school are absolutely top notch. We punch so far above our weight class in terms of facilities we have here. That in and of itself running is $1.37 million. That's keeping the lights on, floors clean, all of the above, just keeping a physical presence. You add to that student academics, athletics, extracurricular activities, all wrapped in together, anything beyond just a teacher. So textbooks, resources, online software, that's $420,000. And then the things, the intangibles that we can't put in that are required elements for running the business. So fax software, having, paying for things like our online systems to be able to run our accounting software, things that we can't otherwise quantify are another $240,000. So that actually is the totality of our budget. If you would look at it with 65% functionally as employees, another 30% in the facilities, and the remainder being split for those two things. So we want to be transparent in the fact that we are leveraging every dollar we possibly can to make it out of $1.35 if we can get it. A huge portion of that is a thank you back to you as a CTCS parent community. It is not lost on us just how much you give back to make that budget line item, again, work almost double what it actually is through your own blood, sweat, and tears here on this campus, and I cannot thank you enough for it, so thank you. Now, given that's where we're spending our money, we're excited about you coming back for next year. So enrollment, right? That is something else that my office does, other than just spend money, is to be as streamlined as possible for getting your students here, getting them enrolled seamlessly into classes so they can get back to what we want our educators doing. So enrollment is going to open up here on February the 1st. You will find on 8 a.m. that actually opens up for you. So I don't want you waiting up until midnight, trying to log in at 12:05. We're going to be bringing back something that we did last year as well, which is all existing families will have a full 3 weeks, functionally 3 weeks, I guess it's 20 days, excuse me, it's not actually 3 weeks, 20 days. From 8 a.m. on the 1st until 8 a.m. on the 21st, you're going to have essentially your own segment of enrollment. So only existing families will have access to re-enroll during that period of time. We want to obviously give you time in order to do that so you can sort out your planning, but also so you have time to come talk to us about whatever that may need to be. We can get numbers for our existing families to give you that preferential enrollment time period. That will open up to new families again at 8 a.m. on the 21st. There are some resources available in my office, so Mrs. Ashley Coffey, who is my accounts receivable clerk, has worked up not only this new tuition payment grid, which you'll see online, so that has all the tuition changes that are there. Again, modest increase as simply cost of running this school, as you've seen reflected behind me for the budget. But we also have payment plan options that are laid out so you can actually see what the monthly, bi-monthly, weekly cost would be. She's worked each of those out, and we have those available to you, as well as a tuition and enrollment process. So we can walk you step by step through how that'll work. Plans for your students, whether they be in pre-K, kindergarten, and all this will be available for you online as well. For any grade level, we've got that worked out. So the last piece that I want to touch on very briefly is this will also coincide with the opening of the scholarship grant financial aid timeline. That's going to kick off February 1st. Some of these open a little bit later, so February 5th for ACE scholarships, February 1st for the Folds of Honor for military families, and then Mayor's military kids as well. So we have all of the application resources for those things available. If you have questions about whether or not you qualify, we're happy to help you with that. If you have questions about additional routes of tuition payment or funneling for resources, we want to answer those questions for you. We want to be available. So please don't hesitate to call my office, myself, Mrs. Coffey. We want to walk you through that during this enrollment time frame. So don't be a stranger, come see us. With that, I am going to turn it over to Mr. Diab for a quick update. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Russell.
Sorry, you did it twice.
I'll hand it back to Mrs. Russell.
So, as you know, family is number one, right? It's very important. I always tell my staff that, right? I always tell you guys, family's first. And so she is at a basketball game. So if you have not met Kelly, she's an amazing person, Miss Humphrey, but she wanted to share a few things about what's going on. So I don't know if you know, but we were full pretty quick. So if you have a preschooler, we closed it out like really fast last year. Several classes just booked really, really quick. So we had 6 pre-K classes this year. We have 69 enrolled. The early childhood enrichment, that's that after-school program, or after they get picked up at 11:30 or 12, whatever time. So that actually was full too. So these parents at work that need to keep their kids a little longer. All of our preschool teachers are certified, as well as our teachers. Children are learning lots, including in memory verses. If you guys, I don't know, once again, if you can come, just hear them. I could just walk in the halls. It is amazing to hear 3-year-olds memorizing scripture, just talking about Jesus, talking about all these things. It's just really, really really a sweet thing. This is just some of the days that they have, where they have Transportation Day. Miss Hahn, you know, is crazy off the charts good, so they do a lot of that. I love the drive-in movie day that they have that design their own. I have Mr. Diab, our fabulous elementary principal, come and visit.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for showing up this evening. First, before I even start, I'd like to acknowledge the elementary teachers that are here to support. I'm sure they're here also as parents, but also as teachers. Ladies, stand up. Come on. We have teachers from almost every grade level present this evening. Thank you so much. Well, first, I'd like to talk to you about this year. So far, you know, in my 28 years of experience, I have never had a challenging year as this year. I've had the opportunity to open a school, but with the school, everything came with it. Desks, table, chairs, teachers, staff, everything. But this year, we had the opportunity to move from this main building into the portables. Not forever, just for now. And with this, we were able to move about 215 students. We were able to do it in 2 days. And the logistics of it was a nightmare. But first, I want to thank Ms. Russell for the planning that she put together. But also, if we didn't have the parents, support of the parents and the students, and the amazing staff, I'm talking about from pre-K all the way to 12th grade, the staff all came together, and within 2 days, we were able to move the students, the desks, the teachers, the walls, everything decorated, and school began like nothing has happened. Well, throughout, as we started, we had our little challenges with leaks here and leaks there, and we were able to manage and move on. And then we had the opportunity, we had the challenge of losing 3 staff members. And that was really a tough thing because, I mean, with all the stressors and everything, and I thought to myself, good grief, I just wonder what parents think. You know, are we just losing teachers left and right? Is it because of the culture of the school? You know, am I a mean principal? Well, I'm here to tell you I'm not mean, and it's what happened is all situational. There was reason for everything. But then, you know, I'm telling you, I prayed and prayed and hoping that we have amazing staff that would just apply because we couldn't find anyone. I ended up teaching for about a month. Well, the Lord listened. And we have right now, I can tell you, within my 28 years career, I have never seen such dedicated staff. When we lost the teachers, all of a sudden the teachers, they stepped up to the plate. They said, Mr. Diab, we're going to do lesson plans. They gave it to the subs, and the school went on like nothing has happened. And I'm telling you, this is amazing. And especially, you know, being here is a ministry. It's not really about the money. And to see what my staff have done gave me the drive to push on and be stronger. So I want to thank you, staff, for the amazing work that you've done. All right. And your parents, of course. Now, student behavior. Let me click. Oh, I'm so behind here. Okay. Student behavior. This year, up to date, we have, I know here it's written 13, but we went up to 15 documented student incidents. And our incidents are like pushing, shoving, she said, he said, hitting. But what I really want to tell you is about how much the amount of incidents went down from last year. I mean, last year we had, like year to date, it would have been about maybe 50 referrals. So I'm very, very happy to stand here and say that there is less disruption going on in the classroom. And that is due to 2 things. I have to say, number 1 is that the parents' support. So always, you know. And then second, I'm thankful because research shows that in order to have less behavior in the classroom, you have to have teachers that are there to challenge students. And our teachers are challenging the students. So thank you again, staff, and thank you again, parents. Wow.
And all deserve it.
Oh, there's one missing. Well, John, you're not going to steal the thunder yet. Hang in there. Now, well, that one was about student achievement, and that is very important. I went around talking to the staff, and we had a conversation about the student growth in reading and in math. And I just want to tell you that there's high achievement going on. It is amazing from the beginning of the year when we did our reading assessments and math assessments. We have a reading assessment that we do beginning of the year, middle of the year, and the end of the year. And we have seen big strides going on with student reading. And in math, we have almost like every chapter or unit, we have assessments going on. And also we see growth. Now we're not seeing growth with every child, because also we have some challenges. But we do have other programs that we have installed in reading, in technology, and in math. And we are working diligently to bring everybody to par. Now, also I wanted to talk to you about what the plans for next year. That was another slide. Somehow it's missed. We are focusing on two things. We are providing assessments to our students, and at the end of the year we have our IO assessment. But I want us to do something better. I want us to be able to track the assessment. Somehow I need to find a program or some strategy where I can gather all the data, or we can gather all the data, and where through this data would follow the student from year to year. That would show the growth, and through it we do planning and with the data how we can target student achievement. And the second one, of course, is the continual professional development for our staff. And that is a very important goal. I mean, we have diamonds that are teaching, and we need to continue polishing them. And that's it. Thank you. And now it's time for Mr. Bates, John Bates.
Thank you, Mr. Diab. If you don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is John Bate. This is my first year, just finished my first semester at CTCS. So previously, I was at Ellison High School in Killeen, and so it has been a godsend for me to take on this challenge to come to CTCS. It really has. Ellison was great. I learned a lot. I grew professionally a lot there, but God definitely had better plans for me, and He heard my prayers, and I was really at a point where I was like, God, I love education, I love working with kids, I love supporting teachers, but I'm at a point right now where please open the door. And He really did. And so CTCS has been a godsend for me. It's been an answer to a prayer. And I will second what Ms. Russell, Mr. Ketterman, and Mr. Diaz said. We have phenomenal staff and teachers here. I mean, really world-class people that have a heart of gold, that love the Lord and love kids. And if you've got that, then all the details will work themselves out. So I can't continue without showcasing my secondary teachers that showed up. We had elementary stand up a second ago. If we have any secondary teachers that are here, please stand up and give them a round of applause. So we have fantastic secondary teachers, and I'm so blessed to be a part of the team. So let's highlight just a little bit celebrating our Lions. Secondary enrollment has increased by 11% from last year, so we've gained in our student population. And with that, we have seen a decrease in student infractions. The majority of the infractions have been some disobedience from time to time, some dress code, but we've got great kids. And I want to talk just a little bit about the infractions. So anytime that I work, an infraction comes through in RentWeb, call the kid in. Of course, I want to hear their story, right? I want to try to get to the root cause of it, to try to work through what happened. My take on this is, how can we grow? How can we get better? How can we learn from this? What you do in the classroom or at recess, that doesn't define you, right? But let's learn from it, let's grow from it, let's get better. And also working here, I have the opportunity to pray with students, which is phenomenal. I can pray for the students, I can encourage them, and so that's a big thing that I do. I think that's really restorative. It helps build that relationship and that trust with students. Successful implementation of new cell phone policy. So if you have a secondary student, I don't know, at the beginning of the year, they might have been pretty upset that we said no cell phones during passing period. So the expectation is from first bell to last bell, cell phones need to be up. And what we have seen is in the hallway, secondary students walking and talking to elementary kiddos. That is one of the coolest things about working at CTCS and all being on one campus, is we have seniors walking right down the same hallway as we do with 3-year-olds. And that is pretty awesome, and it's pretty sweet to see them interact with each other. So I think the cell phone policy has been a successful thing. Addition of woodworking class and health science classes. Ms. Salvato is here. She is our health science teacher. And if you don't know Ms. Salvato, please get to know her. She is a rock star, and she's done great things with our health science classes. And we're looking forward to expanding some of our CTE and elective courses in the future to meet student needs. Addition of Prometheum smartboards in every secondary classroom and one-to-one Chromebooks, grades 8 through 12. I know that Mr. Stevens was here earlier. He teaches philosophy, Bible, and he's also our campus tech. He is phenomenal. He really is. And so he does a great job supporting our teachers and all the technology that we have in the classrooms. So that is a blessing for sure. Okay, Lion Academics fall semester. So here's just some very big, broad data. If you have a student, you know how they're doing at the end of each one of their 9 weeks, how they did after the end of the first semester. But here's just a snapshot to look at grades 6 through 12, the passing rate, and then you can also look on the right-hand side. It shows the median GPA and high GPA for each grade level. Now, I do want to talk about one thing. 12th grade. 98% pass rate with our students. I was talking to a staff member the other day in preparation for this, and they said, ooh, that's not so good. That's concerning because we have a senior that failed one class in the first semester. I said, you're right. I'd love for that to be 100%. I'd love for it to be perfect. But that's not the real world. And so I had a pretty cool thing. So in my office, I have a window, which I'm pumped about because I didn't have that at Elson High School. And later that day, I saw the parent of that student walking up to school to meet the teacher of the class that he's failing. How cool is that? We have teachers that care, that support, that will work through to meet the needs of our kiddos. And so I have no doubt that they're going to develop a plan, and then we're going to have 100% of our seniors graduate. Okay, so if we look outside of the classroom work and the grades, how did our kids do on PSAT and SAT performance? Obviously, this is big picture. This is broken down by grade level, but you can take a look. PSAT 8th and 9th grade on the left, PSA 10th and 11th grade data in the middle, and senior SAT on the right. You can see for each one of them, that is compared to the national average. So not only are we higher than the national average with PSAT and SAT, but we're also higher than local and state averages as well. But that all testers shows nationally. Okay, my favorite part. Getting ready for this. I think pictures are really important. They tell a story, and I love stories. So let me talk you through just a couple of these as I was getting ready for this presentation. Top left-hand corner, one of the things I love about CTCS, and I think it's worthy of celebrating, are the retreat programs that our students are able to participate on, because we want to educate the whole child. Yes, academics is really important. We need to have high standards. Behavior, it's important for you to hear about how discipline going, what's the behavior like. But a huge part of what makes CTCS really special is all the other activities that we do for the kids. Top left corner, that is our predominantly seniors and juniors that went on a counselor's retreat. And so we spent about a week and a half ago, we were in Giddings, Texas at Camp Tejas. And we were training them, how do you meet the needs of the 6th and 8th graders when they go on their retreat later in the spring semester? Awesome weekend, great kids. They are a product of CTCS and our amazing teachers and the vision that we have here at CTCS. On the right, top right, you'll see students running around. That was actually a Wednesday that we had Bible buddies. The big kids love Bible buddies just as much as the younger kids do. So that's a huge celebration here. We have Bible buddies the last Wednesday of every month. And then also at the bottom, we have opportunities for our kids to serve. The Love of Christ Food Pantry, we took a high school class as well as a middle school class to go and serve in our local community. Last slide for me, Christ-centered. So I took this picture, and it's not the best picture, I will admit that. But this is a picture of looking out my window in my office. This is Miss Scott's 4th grade class, and my wife and I, we have 3 sons. So Ethan, Owen, and Logan. Owen is in 4th grade. He's in there, little blonde-haired boy. But they are out by the football field. Like I said, I took this right through my window. Arms across each other, and they are praying for the football team because they had a game, I think, later that day or later that week. And so this is just a glimpse of what we do here at CTCS. And so I'm proud to be a part of it. Once again, I love this school. And like Ms. Russell said, if you guys have any questions, please reach out, email, call me. I might not have all the answers, but I'd be more than happy to walk alongside you to help you as much as I could. Okay, at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Leif Johnson, our head football coach and athletic director.
Hello. Yep. So I'm Leif Johnson. I'm the athletic director here. I've been here for 8 years, but serving as the athletic director for the last 3. And so one interesting thing about athletics is compared to the classroom, you get to sit in the stands or the bleachers and see the games and see the fruit of the hard work that the athletes have put in. But not always you get to see what we as coaches and teachers get to see from them on a daily basis in practice and in the weight room. And I've got the best job in the world because I get to be around your kiddos on a daily basis. And whether it's a win or a loss, our biggest thing here is bringing it all back to Christ and playing for an audience of one. And so as our athletic program, you can see up there, it's CTCS Athletics play a vital role in the overall mission of Central Texas Christian School as we educate students with the transforming truth of Christ. We strongly believe that athletics can help prepare our young people to live productive Christian life on and off the field. And so one thing that I talk to our athletes all the time is encourage them to play everything that we have because what you get on the football field may be completely different than the adversity that you get on the free throw line in a basketball game or up in the batter's box on the last out of the game. And so, I'm a little bit biased, but out of all of our departments, I feel like it is so easy to intertwine Christ and our Christian faith into athletics. And so I'm blessed to get to do that. We've got great coaches that love your kids, that truly care about them, that spend an incredible amount of hours pouring into their lives. And so we make just as many mistakes as we do in our successes, but at the end of the day, I can go to sleep just fine knowing that our coaches as a whole athletic department really truly care about your kids. And so it's really difficult to see up there, but some of our accomplishments this year, only being halfway through the year, our fall sports had a great year. So our football team, volleyball, and cross country all played into postseason. So football and volleyball played 2 rounds into the playoffs, with cross country winning district championship this year and then competing very well at state. We had a really cool individual award that just happened a couple weeks ago with one of our senior football players. He was selected for the Texas High School Player of the Week, Built Ford Tough. and was actually selected as the Built for Tough Player of the Year of all private schools. So that's 1A through 5A. We've had 11 all-state honors from volleyball and football, cross country. So once again, fully expect those to double as we get into from basketball and track and baseball. Our cheer team won first place at the Texas Showdown for competitive cheer this year. That was they had competed previously, but it was the first year back in a while, and they went and dominated. So that was very, very cool. Our wrestling program is in its second year of its program, and they compete in state at the end of this month. And they just got back from a tournament not too long ago where we had five top three finishes in a UIL tournament that was mostly 5A, 6A schools. So great job there. One of the coolest things that I think that we've done as an athletic department this year is reintroducing our Fellowship of Christian Athletes program. So through the fall, I was a little bit concerned of just how many times that, we're asking them to go to chapel and go to Bible study, go to Bible class. If we would get a lot of attendance from our Fellowship of Christian Athletes and meeting in the morning at 7:15, and consistently through the fall, we had 30 plus students there every morning. May have been the donuts that was intriguing, but we had great attendance, and so I look forward to how that's going to expand. Along those same lines, we've had 3 athletes selected for the FCA Fellowship Christian Athlete All-Star Game this summer, and so that is just another way that we can put our brand in and let people know that the athletes that are coming out of our school are compete right up there with other athletes in the area. And then, of course, we've got in basketball finishing up, track and baseball. And if you're just going off of last year's success, we've got a lot of individual athletes in the baseball team is supposed to do really well. So I'm excited about what's to come there. Some goals moving on into next year. First and foremost, we want to compete for Christ, and I think that is done really well. And I can just last night, I get report from a middle school basketball game that we lost by probably 25, 30 points, and I get compliments from the opposing coaches that, hey, your kids were really great. They walked off the court with a smile on their face. They asked to pray after the game. And so, we want to win games, but we are coaching for something a little bit greater. A big goal is the TAPS Henderson Cup. Probably not familiar with that, but at the end of the year, TAPS, the organization that we play our sports through, will look back at the the programs that have had the most success throughout the year as far as playoffs go, and they will award a school with being the best sports program in their division. So that's a goal every year. One thing that has just continued to improve, before I was athletic director, but I think we've taken steps in the right direction, is our strength and conditioning program. So as your kid is in 6th grade all the way up through 12th grade, they'll have the opportunity to run through our weight room or our speed training program at least 3 days a week. And that has really prevented our season-ending injuries. We still have, injuries that happen with a sprained ankle or, a bruise or a bump, but the amount of season-ending injuries have drastically decreased since we've implemented a weight program. And kind of in that same vein is our summer strength and conditioning programs that our coaches will run through the summer at no cost. And so the goal is to have 80% of our student body there in the summers. It's just a great tool for them to stay engaged and to be active, but also as they get out here and play sports all year long, it helps on the injury prevention. We have, the last few years, have not had a softball team just due to lack of interest from our high school girls, but there are enough there that gives me hope that if we can build some momentum and interest, that we would be able to bring softball back. So that is a goal for next year that I think is looking good. And then ultimately, I think Alex had mentioned that we've got great facilities, and we do. But one that I would say is of importance is some sort of indoor facility with adding wrestling and some sort of indoor multi-purpose space that we could house kids when the weather is bad and we can't fit everybody in the gym or the weight room. But once again, CTCS is a fantastic place. Athletics has been great this year, and I fully expect us to just keep moving forward the rest of the semester. And so with that said, if there's not anything else, I'd like to just close this out in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for just allowing us to just celebrate all the things that you've done with this school, just the wonderful people in it, and the students. I pray that as we go about the rest of the year, that you would just put a hedge of protection around each and every one of them. Just give energy to our teachers and our staff to do your work, and that you would just bless all things CTCS. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.